This episode of Crack It with Retro Collectibles is sponsored by and in association with the Cowie Diecast Museum, killing the value on collectibles since 2019.
Just printed up the logo for the Bigfoot Diorama at Wally. Figured I'd have to come back, but it came out perfect. Now clearly I'm gonna have to cut it out from this paper. I'm gonna have to trim it around the edges, cut it out, but that will be on the back wall of my diorama, and then it'll be a crowd scene below it and around it. Now it's mocked up, guys, and it's not done. It might be a little bit crooked. I taped it on from the back just so you could get an idea. Like when it goes on, it's going to be permanently on there. But that's the logo I printed out. It looks pretty good. And of course, I got a donor car, not this one. That's a vintage Ertl Smokey and the Bandit 1 of 25 scale. Somebody donated me a 1 of 18 scale PT Cruiser in the box. So I'll be putting that thing in a vise, smashing it with a hammer. But that's the logo that's going to be in the diorama. And then in the background, I'm going to have a crowd scene. So there's my Bigfoot, the diorama part of it, the beginning, guys. So far, total investment, just under $4 to get that printed out at Walmart. You go to the kiosk with your phone, plug your phone in. They don't say anything about copyright as long as you're not doing obvious, selling of stuff or whatever. But I'm gonna have the different car in there all smashed up, and I'm gonna have a crowd scene to make it look like he's in an arena with cameras flashing and stuff. It's gonna be on the back wall. The front walls are just gonna be clear, but the back wall is going to have the Bigfoot logo and the crowd diorama. So we got this, guys, this Mustang Boss 302. A newer one, which I'm really looking forward to because it's usually the classic stuff that we unbox around here. This is a newer one, and it's got the Shelby Collectibles touch to it. It's, as you can see, it's been right out of the bowels of the museum here. But it's got the Shelby Collectibles touch. It's from the Legends series. I believe this is a series that they made to commemorate when he passed. Yes, it is, May 10th, 2012. Yeah, let's get into it. Okay, guys, before we get into it, I got a collecting story you guys will probably get a kick out of. It just happened today, actually, so... have my coffee. Okay, so I got one of these this morning, okay? Now, my Walmart guys, for Hot Wheels collectors, this is an $8 car in the store. There's guys paying $30 on the secondary market. It's insane, okay? I would never charge anybody that. So I have competition at the store that I go to. There's me and there's another guy that goes, an older man that's super respectful. He's a longtime collector and he goes every morning. But we had an idea that there was an overnight staff lady, because we would get to the pegs and it would be stuff that wasn't out at closing the night before. But it would already be rifled sometimes and all the good stuff would be gone. And we were like, it's like somebody breaking into the store when it's closed overnight? You know what I mean? Like, how would this stuff be gone? We were here when the doors closed, right? So we got an idea that it was an overnight cleaning lady because her husband would park at the doors. And at 7 a.m. she would finish work, she would hustle over to the cashier, and she would have a cart with like clothes, like it looks like blankets or something covering boxes, like she was hiding stuff. And we used to joke and say, imagine if she was stealing, but she wasn't stealing. She was actually cleaning anything of value off the pegs. So we had a suspicion of it and we weren't sure, right? And then about a month ago, there was a lady working, and we were waiting in the lobby to keep warm. They let us do that, but we're not allowed to enter the store till 7. It was 6:56, and the lady said, "Oh, you know what, guys, go ahead. It's Friday. You guys go ahead. Have a good weekend, blah, blah, blah." So we were allowed in 4 minutes early. We rounded the corner to the toy aisle, to the Hot Wheels aisle, and there is the usual suspect, the cleaning lady that we were thinking was in on it, just clearing the pegs off. Like, they had boulevards, the Hot Wheels boulevards. It's a Walmart exclusive, and as soon as they hit the pegs, they're gone. And they're very strong on the secondary market. So she had a ton of those. So me and the guy I was with managed to each grab a set. And what she does, like I said, is she at 7 hustles, either hustles the cars out to her husband in the car, who then lists them online for sale immediately, or she leaves with them because her shift is over, depending, right? So that one day, I was missing the hot car, which was, I believe, the yellow Porsche from the set. And she had 2 of them. And I looked at her, and she had multiple sets on top of it, and she had 2 of the extra cars. And I looked at her, I said, "Oh, I'll take one of those." And she looked at me kind of taken back, and I said, "Well, you work here, right? Okay, I'll take one of those. You got a bunch of them." And she got my point, like, because it's an old lady, I can't really say much to her, but I more or less, like, you work here, you shouldn't be doing this, without saying that, right? Because basically the doors would open at 7 a.m. We would be walking over to the toy aisle. She would be passing us, going to the cashier with all the cherries. You know what I mean? But anyway, today I ended up getting this. We got to the pegs. It was the same thing. These were not out the night before when the doors closed, because Rob was there. I shouldn't have said his name, but a gentleman that, he's a good guy. I got along great with him. He was there, and he seen that there was nothing there the night before. So the one that was missing out of all these was the Chase, the Car Culture Chase, the black car. I think it's the, for this one, is it the Toyota Altiza? Yeah, it is. So for this set, it's the Toyota Altiza. So there was a full set gone, and plus the Toyota Altiza from what would have been my set, okay? And nobody's gonna leave this behind. So she got so excited about that, because those Chases, the Car Culture ones, sell for about $80 to $100 depending on the casting, because they're actual Chases. They're not watered down one every case. Like, they're actual hard to get Chases. So that's my story for today. I'm happy. I was happier than anything about the Honda that I got, but at the same time, it's like, damn, I could have had that Chase because it was my turn. We take turns too if it's just the 2 of us. Like, if there's a Chase there one day, he'll take it. And then the next one, he'll say, "Oh, this one's yours." Like, he's awesome. Like, we get along great, and we don't try to shyster each other. He's a nice dude. A lot older than me, but very nice guy. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this, guys, because we don't open a lot of modern cars. This is a modern car, and I love the color of it. I love the loud colors. Glenn here, I don't think, is a fan of the loud colors, but I love the loud colors, especially on the modern muscle cars, trucks especially. I've seen Dodge Rams and not this color. It's more of like the popsicle green color, and I love it. They look great. But yeah, it's either you love it or you hate it, the colors, and I just love the loud colors. I was an 80s kid, I'm born in 78, so I grew up in the era with when Reebok and Nike had all the neon clothes, and it was a very colorful period. Even Harvey's had little softballs that were like to play softball with, that were neon colors. And this is sealed. Factory sealed. The box is a little bit dusty. This has never been opened. Talking about the Bigfoot diorama, the only thing I have to do now is add that car. An awesome gentleman by the name of David Lamar donated me a 1 of 18 scale, brand new in the box. But it's funny though, it's the perfect car for this because it's a PT Cruiser. 1 of 18 scale, brand new in the box, but it's exactly what I wanted because nobody's chasing that, you know what I mean? So it's not like I'm taking a Silver Screen Machines General Lee and bashing it up, you know what I mean?
The cops definitely aren't chasing it.
No, the cops ain't chasing it either. That's true. But yeah, so he donated me that. He won it in an auction for $1 apparently. The Bigfoot logo, I'm done, so I just have to get the car from David Lamar, smash the shit out of it with a hammer, put it in a vise. And my friend Rodney is working on trying to print out the crowd scene. Because his printer is just regular size, it'll be regular size piece of paper, right? So we're trying to make it so that we can we're measuring the acrylic case, and we're gonna try to make it so that we cut the picture into 4 and then print it in 4 pieces and do it that way. But the Bigfoot logo looks awesome. Like, I cannot believe I was in Walmart after work tonight, and it dawned on me, why don't I print that out? It takes a second. I tried to do it about a week ago, but even though it's a kiosk, I'm trying to do it. The guy walks over to me and says, you can't do it after 9 p.m. I'm like, okay, it's a kiosk, you know what I mean? But I was there today and I remembered to do it, and I went in there, picked 8 by 10, and I knew I was going to be cutting it out with scissors and that, so I just needed it big enough. And literally, I put the order through, paid for it. The lady handed me the picture. I said, wow, I don't got to come back in an hour? Nope. Wow. So Shelby Collectibles, quality stuff. Even their packaging, they put the little extra piece of styrofoam there. The back of the box, authentically detailed engine, interior and chassis, fully functional doors, hood and trunk, chrome detailed accessories. Wow, I'm coughing. Do I got the vid, guys? I haven't had COVID yet, and I toy hunted through the pandemic, but if I pulled up to it, firstly, when I toy hunted, I either did it early in the morning or late at night when nobody was in the store or way less people. And if I pulled up to a store and there was a lineup out the door, you know what I did? Didn't even get out of the car. I kept going because it wasn't worth the risk. Because even me and Diane trying to stay away from people, there was times that I almost got into altercations in the beginning of COVID when nobody knew really what we were dealing with. People were being really dumb and were not respecting other people's distance. Like, I remember looking at the toy aisle one time and an arm reaching, I just see a hand going by my face to grab cars off the pegs. I turned around, it was 2 guys. What the F are you doing, bud? And they started acting like I was nuts and saying COVID wasn't real. I was like, okay, that's your opinion. I'm not going to get into that because politics, but COVID definitely real. Oh, the only thing I'll say, well, it's not really related to politics, but you know that big convoy thing where they went to Ottawa? The leader of that, Pat King, that went to jail, he's about my age, right? I went to high school with him, and not only did I go to high school with him, he was a friend and I hung out with him. And I'm going to say I cannot believe, well, I don't want to insult anybody or get into it, guys, but I can't believe the following he has. I'm just going to say that. Yeah, he was, back then he was kind of known as the meathead in our group. I'm not trying to insult anybody. I don't know him today. Like, apparently he's got a decent job and stuff, good for him, but in high school, wow. But people change, right? I was a meathead too. But I couldn't believe when I seen him on television. I was like, wow. He had the police show up at my friend Greg's house. My friend Greg is on my Facebook, actually. He would remember this, but that guy, we were all partying there in the late 90s, probably 1998 or 1999. And Pat King, we were all loaded. Pat King was drunk. He ordered a cab. This was back in Sault Ste. Marie, because Pat, if you research him, he's from Sault Ste. Marie. He went to my high school. He went to Boating as well. But Pat left and called a taxi. And when he got to the other end, he took off and didn't pay the taxi. No big deal. Everybody was doing it back then. But you would be smart enough to not do it at your friend's house. Like, you would go to the store, go to a couple houses down, you know what I mean? So naturally, the police showed up at the door. And we're all partying, underage, smell of dope in the air. It wasn't a good scene. And I was not happy with Pat. I won't get into it or anything like that, but yeah, not cool. And not smart. Wow, this thing is sharp looking, guys, and it's heavy. And I love the way they do the nameplate. Just classic looking. Look at that text, guys. Just thick black. There's no missing that. I'm blind and there's no missing it. So, of course, we have to get the band off the car. We're going to get this off of the base because we got to do glamour shots of this. I'm really looking forward to this again because it's a minor car, or a modern car. We never do modern cars. I think the trunk even opens. But we're going to check all that out. First, we're going to take it off the base because we don't even want to risk this gorgeous paint, which I'm not seeing any rash, by the way.
That one I got in the Mustang Museum in Vegas.
Wow, Glenn got this at the Mustang Museum in Las Vegas. It probably wasn't cheap because usually places like that, because of where it's at, right? But this could be a car that you could only get at the museum because I'll be honest with you, Glenn, I don't think I've seen one of these before.
It wasn't one of the more expensive ones.
Well, now it might be. You never know. Now it might be because you know how these things appreciate. It's ridiculous. So what year is this? I'm looking for the year because I want to tell these guys too. I'm gonna guess it's got to be after 2012 because it talks about Carol Shelby.
Probably about 16 or 17 because that's when I went there for work.
Okay, so between 2012, 2016, 17, I'm still looking for a date on the copyright. 2000, okay, that's not right, 2009, because Shelby was still alive then. Oh, wow. I just read something on the box, guys. I love Shelby Collectibles, but I've told my friends, like with M2 machines, for example, I used to get the chases at Walmart all the time. One of 500, one of 750, right? And I'd see a bunch of my buddies posting the same cars, and I'd be like, sometimes I'd wonder if it was one of 750 and we're like Hamilton, you know what I mean? Or is this 750 total in the world, right? So there's a little disclaimer on this box. Every reasonable effort is made to ensure the authenticity of these adult collectibles. However, many factors, including changes in driver sponsors and manufacturing limitations, may cause inaccuracies. That happens. Accordingly, Shelby Collectibles cannot and does not warrant that this adult collectible is authentic in every detail. That's reasonable too. The production number listed on the front of the box is only an estimate on the intended production. Overruns, underruns, and administrative error may cause the actual production number to fall short or exceed the estimate. Wow. In other words, it could say 1 of 1,000 and there could be 20,000 because there's no limit. The way they worded it, it's kind of tricky. I'm not saying that they would do that because they're pretty Shelby Collectibles, I've got nothing bad to say so far. Nothing. But yeah, at least they were honest about it. That's the first time I've ever read anything about production numbers, man, because I Googled in and out about M2 machines trying to find stuff. Greenlight too, I was trying to Google production numbers for their greenies and stuff and never got definites. Like I got some loose ideas, you know what I mean? And I got for greenies that they were 2% of the total production run, I think it is, but have fun finding the total production run. And Greenlight, one thing that they did recently, but it was actually cool, last year, it sucked because I had bought a couple of these cars on the secondary market though, but last year they did a rerun of their popular movie cars in 164. None of us knew what was happening for the first couple of weeks. We were all posting it in our Facebook groups. Wow, I found Greenlight Eleanor, I found Starsky and Hutch. Like we were finding greenies and everything, right? And it turned out that it was a rerun of their most iconic movie cars. And I thought it sucked if you owned them. But the thing is, it didn't say the series on it. It said limited edition or whatever. So it didn't say a series number, and that was one of the giveaways. But kind of sucked if you already own the car, but at the same time, it's good for new collectors because when they do stuff like that, Hot Wheels does it big time. I won't even buy premium Hot Wheels like like the retro entertainment ones or anything anymore because I noticed they just keep, like, you'll buy it, oh, it's awesome, blah, blah, blah. Within a year or two tops, they're coming out with it again. Like even the iconic Back to the Future Toyota on the cinema card that I had, by the way, the Toyota truck, they reissued that on a flat card. The cinema cards were gorgeous. The Hot Wheels Retro Entertainment cinema cards, I had about probably between 40 of them and 50 of them maybe, I think. Just my favorites. I didn't want every single one.
Or the Fast and Furious they release every 10 minutes.
Oh, Fast and Furious. It's like M2 machines with the Coke brand. Fast and Furious, they're just milking it. Like next time they put out a set, Hot Wheels puts out the 5-car set of Fast and Furious, it's going to be, oh, this set, we've got like the producer's wife's minivan and the daughter's first Mustang. You know what I mean? Like it's, like I seen the one set, I didn't even bother going after it. The set that I quit going after those sets was, I think it was the Furious Fleet. And it was like all trucks. And I was like, you gotta remember guys, I went to the theater to see the first Fast and Furious. I remember seeing the trailer on TV, seeing the Charger doing the wheelie and going fucking crazy. I was living in Hamilton at the time. I went to see it at Jackson Square Theater because it was free popcorn refills and 75-cent pop refills at the time. The theater's still there, but it's some big name theater now. And it's all revamped. But the girl I was with, Chantel, at the time, brought me as a surprise to see it in Jackson Square. And I loved it. And the second one, I liked it, but not as much. And this is a 2-piece base, by the way, and you have to take both pieces off because there's no holes to get to the bottom ones, which sucks. But the second movie, I liked it, but not as much as the first one. Tokyo Drift, I can tolerate it. The rest of them, I just can't get into them. Like, it got totally away from what it was. It started out as street racing and some truck hijacking, you know what I mean? And it went from that to having The Rock in it and explosions every 30 seconds. And I like The Rock as an actor. I thought he was awesome in Walking Tall. The remake of Walking Tall with Buford T. Tanner or whatever the hell name. I don't remember. I'm tired, guys, but yeah. Oh, I got some good news today I'm going to share with you guys because you guys are like family to me. So, the last little while, Old Retro has been having a tight time financially. That's why I have not been unboxing any cool stuff that I bought myself really recently, although I've been looking for the bargain stuff. What happened was, I don't know if you're on my Facebook or not, but it was right before, conveniently, it was right before the 1st of February. Somebody accessed my bank account with my Visa debit card. See, all my other cards, they caught me slipping there because all my other cards, like say I go use my debit card or my credit card at Walmart, I get an alert right on my phone right then and there, even when I use it. 308 was spent at Walmart, right? But I didn't have it on the Visa debit card. I guess I forgot, didn't think about it, whatever. And they somehow, when on Amazon, they opened up a business account and went nuts. And they thought my first name was Retro. It's probably somebody from not in the country, not to sound racist or prejudiced, whatever, but they gave the first name as being Retro. Like they thought it was an actual name. Now, the good part was they deemed it a fraud right away. Like, basically, it was almost $1,200 I lost. They got my rent money plus it was straight all bill money, okay? So I had to borrow my rent money from Diane because I wasn't going to take out a friggin' payday loan, pay interest. I haven't done that in years, but I was up shit creek, right? And it wasn't for me blowing my money on diecast. I got frauded. So she lent me the money, said pay me back either next pay or when you get the money back. Because they deemed it fraud within 10 minutes on the phone. They said, okay, you're going to get your money back within 15 business days. It's been quite a while and I still have not been repaid. They're starting to blame each other now. Like it's Amazon's fault, it's the bank's fault. They should have did this, they should have did that. At the end of the day, I don't care. Because it put me behind the 8 ball. Because Diane lending me the money, basically, it was a great help. But it was a Band-Aid solution. Because when I had to pay her back, it put me right behind. Because that's all my other bill money now. You know what I mean? So I'm waiting for all that. So last night I'm talking to Diane on the phone. And she asked me if I had been reimbursed. And I said no. And I said, and I'm in a lot of trouble because of it. Like, if it goes in tomorrow, it's all gravy, you know what I mean? I'm in the black again. She says to me, I'm surprised you haven't done your income tax yet. Because I started doing my own using TurboTax years ago. And I showed her how to do it. And we've done it every year and been happy doing it, right? And there's never been a problem. She said, I'm surprised you haven't done that. You're usually all over it. I said, well, no offense. Look, I've had an upside down few months. You know, you left, blah, 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 right? I was off my meds for a while when I was off work. For some reason in my head, I thought that the T4s, they had till the end of April to get them out. And she tells me last night on the phone, no, I already got mine. They have till the end of February and I've already filed my taxes. I said, wow. Now, normally, with my income, they think that I make too much money, and I used to get $30 or $40 back for my tax return. But I have what's called the Ontario Disability Tax Credit, which is a huge tax break. It's basically for people with disabilities, it's to encourage them to work. It's basically an incentive to work, okay? So it's a huge tax break. So just to give you an example, if I would have filed it without my disability tax credit, I would have got $39 back, okay? Because I did it mock just to check. So I got my T4 today. Like Diane just told me last night, today they gave me my T4 at work. I sat in my car after work, went into Simple, filled everything out. $3,200 and some dollars I'm gonna get back. It's already been net filed. It's just I gotta wait till it goes in my account. So that's gonna take care of what I'm behind. So when they do pay me back, it's probably going to take a million years, but I don't care now. But when they do pay me back, that's all extra. And this is going to, I got a little bit behind on my credit cards when I was off work because I went from making what I made to making 55% of my income. When you're used to living a certain way, it screws you. So my credit cards got a little bit high. Luckily, it's only $1,500 high. So I'm going to completely wipe out my credit card debt. And I'm going to buy something nice to unbox. And I mean something that I couldn't normally get. I'm thinking either the Hotwheels Elite DeLorean or the Super Elite. I have the Elite. I'm thinking the Super Elite DeLorean, the one that comes with all the different wheels and you open the door and it goes when you open the door. That one. Either that one or the Hot Wheels Elite 18 van. Something that I wouldn't normally be able to get. Because after all my debts paid, I will have quite a bit left over. So if you have a registered disability and you live in Ontario and you don't have the Ontario disability tax credit, definitely look into it. Because like I said, it was the difference between $39 or $3,200. A little over 32 I'm getting back. So yeah. So anyway, enough of my talking, guys. Sorry, I'm happy. I wanted to engage with you. This thing is gorgeous, though. It does have a number here. I don't know what that number represents. It's a big, long number. Now, the good thing is I told Glenn I do not see a lot of these ones around in this color. It's usually... But I am going to look online and have a look. But it's usually the older classic Mustangs. So let's start with the back. Actually, we'll give it a good look around since I haven't done that because I was yakking your ear off here. 29 minutes. Sorry, guys. I like you guys, or else if I didn't like you, you know what I say to people? If I didn't like you, you know what I would say to you? Not a damn thing. Yeah, if I don't like people, I don't pretend to like them. This thing's beautiful. Okay, so we're going to start with the trunk. Just a regular little trunk. A modern size car trunk. Sports car size trunk. Okay. And of course, we're going to have a look on the look-see set. And we might even stick it beside a classic Shelby Collectibles casting just for some glamour shots. But this thing's going to take a beautiful picture. The inside of it looks just like a modern Mustang. Wow.
It's like Chris Savvy's Mustang, only Chris's is orange.
Yeah, we know a guy that has this exact Mustang, but it's like the orangey yellow color. Personally, it's just a preference. I would love to have it in this color. But if you gave me the orangey color one, I wouldn't turn it down. I'm more of a Mopar guy, mind you, but I drive a Mazda 3, man. You know what I mean? I would take one of these in a heartbeat. There's people that knock cars down and stuff, but I know what I drive, you know what I mean? I would take one of these. Look at the wheel even. That is nice. Yeah, Shelby Collectibles never disappoints. And if you're new to watching my channel and love movie cars and you want to get an Eleanor, and you want the best of the best for Eleanor, and I'm not talking about the big one that was made by that company or the 1 of 12 green light. I'm talking about 1 of 18 scale. You want the best of the best Eleanor. You want it by this company here, Shelby Collectibles. You don't want green light. You don't want anybody else. So we've seen the interior. Now we're going to go for the best here. Under the hood. Now, this is the best part on Shelby Collectibles, guys. It's the way they do under the hood. And oh, god damn it. Sorry about the language, guys, but oh man, it's got the modern, and it looks so real. Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's got one of those modern engines that looks like it's good for about 800 or 1,000
Probably a
horsepower.
Coyote engine.
I don't know. I don't know much about Mopars, but it looks like one of those, or not Mopars, Mustangs, but it looks like one of those new ones that's, well, it's got the 302 Boss, but it's all modern, computerized, all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
People add superchargers to them now, Whipples, all that. That is wild, though. That's going to take some nice pictures, guys. If you're a fan of modern Mustangs like this, without even looking at it on the look-see set, get this. I'm going to give this a high score, actually, a high retro score. I don't see anything wrong with it. And I'm not a Mustang fan, guys. Like, I'm not... If it's not Eleanor or not Bullet or not a Fox body, I'm not a huge fan. That is gorgeous. That's gorgeous, guys. Wow. But looking at it, you just know that it wants to start doing donuts and just go into a crowd and just wipe out 6 people. Hey, how come that happens on YouTube videos? You know, my theory about it with these Mustangs is it's something to do with the electronic stability, like the traction control that the new cars have. I think that has something to do with it. People are trying to break loose and the computer gets kind of like it's not meant for it, you know what I mean? It's meant for stability, and I would turn that off altogether if I was trying to do that shit. But anyway, let's have a look on the look-see set. Yeah, guys, I just took some still photos of it for myself and for Glenn just to see how it looked in still photos, and like I thought, this thing does not disappoint. It's gorgeous. Little look from the passenger side. Nice details. Looks like the dash from one. Sorry for the shakiness, guys. I actually ordered, it looks like a pistol grip handle for my phone. And it's supposed to help with the shakiness. Because don't forget, I'm new to this video stuff in the last year. But looks like it'll help me make less shaky videos for you guys. It looks like a pistol grip handle. So that's what I'll be doing. But gauges all look good. Steering wheel, all that. Oh, that's a nice detail in the door frame. Check that out, guys. But for me, Shelby Collectibles, one of the first things I want to check is that motor. The motor is what sold me on Eleanor, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute for you new viewers. View from the other side, but look at that, guys. Look at how good that looks, how realistic that looks. Like even that reservoir on the firewall, it makes it look like they got some fluid in it, eh? And it's got a sexy and realistic bum bum. And just overall, it's gorgeous. And I cannot wait till that pistol grip comes in because the shakiness is bugging me now. So don't worry, guys. I apologize. I'm working on that. Just checking from every angle for you guys, but gorgeous. And there's a shot of the handsome car with handsome retro collectibles. Oh, I'm constantly updating you guys about the layout of the Cowie Diecast Museum here whenever we change something, whatever. I moved something, one of my favorite items, up to the main floor because it wasn't getting enough love downstairs. Most of you guys have seen it, but I'll show you guys for the new viewers that didn't see the special toy I put together a little while back. Now for you new viewers, this is only for 905 Club members to see this. Existing viewers, so you know I must trust you and have love for you if I'm showing you my retro fly hovering DeLorean prototype. Wouldn't want anybody to take my secret of my toy. But as you see, it's really hovering. Check this out. Still gonna figure out a way to keep that light on longer because it's the Jada DeLorean I'm using. But just for you new viewers, I still can't believe I made that, eh? Magnetic levitation coil. Anybody's interested in building one yourself for under 200 bucks? Leave a comment and I will leave the link for you for the video, and it's got all the links where you buy all the stuff, and it's all cheap stuff from Amazon, whatever. Even that little box that it's hovering on, that's a little shadow box from Michael's. A little, I think it's 5x5 or whatever. It costed like 12 bucks, something like that, but a lot cheaper than buying the one that came out in 2016 that was $3.99 when it came out, and it's between $900 and $1,200 now on the secondary. I will say that one's more detailed than mine, but for the $200 it took to build mine, and it was actually fun. You guys have no idea the feeling I had when that thing started hovering. Even Diane was excited about it, and she's not usually into this sort of thing, but even she came over and was checking it out. Yeah, I was amazed. And when I made that, on the original video for how I show how to do it, I give credit to the other YouTuber because it was his video that showed me how to do it. So this was not my idea. This was that other YouTuber. I cannot remember his name offhand, but his name, I did give him a shout out in the original video because I can't steal someone's idea. Now I did make it look a little bit different than his though, but yeah, without his video, I probably wouldn't have been able to build this thing, the Retro Fly Hovering DeLorean. You want a sneak peek of what we're thinking about doing next for an unboxing? It's a cool one. It's one I haven't done yet. You know what? I'm actually going to dedicate this to my buddy Eric, because he's a truck guy and he's always super positive about my videos and stuff, and he's been encouraging me from the beginning. So this next episode with this truck is dedicated to my friend Eric. He knows who he is. And interesting enough, guys, this is not a 1/18 scale. They scaled it down to 1/21 scale the way they did to the Ertl Elite, or the Ertl Elite, the Ertl Ecto 1. The Ertl Ecto 1 is 1/21 scale. Luckily, it fits in my burpee cabinet. The Hotwheels Elite Ecto 1, that's a true 1/18 scale, it won't fit. But the Maisto stuff surprised me because not only when I did the Maisto unboxings and I took the stripe off that one and customized it to be the Christine Charger, did the wheel swap and that, it got tons of love. I couldn't believe it. People actually love Maisto stuff. So this is a little bit of a different one. It's not your Maisto Lamborghini or Maisto Corvette. So we're going to check her out. You know we love different here. Bye-bye, Grimace. Before I forget, guys, I almost forgot to show you Eleanor. So a little over a year ago, when I first started collecting 1/18 scale movie cars, I knew nothing about the 1/18 scale cars. I was mainly a 1/24 scale green light collector, M2 machines. The Canadian 1/18 scale diecast group, collectors group, I always plug that group because they're great for this scale. I literally went into that group after I got my first one, which was my Silver Screen Machines General Lee. That's a hell of a way to start, eh, guys? I remember posting a picture of it and all the guys in the group were like, wow, you started with that? But I only paid $100 for it. But I made a list when I decided I was going to collect and do quality over quantity, which means I wasn't going to get cheap castings and regret it later and end up buying the better one. I was going to go for the best I could afford. So I made a list. I said, who made the best versions of Knight Rider, Eleanor, uh, Bullet. Like, I made all my favorite movie cars, and all these old school collectors responded. And with Eleanor, they gave the name of Shelby Collectibles, and up until then, I had never heard of Shelby Collectibles. I should have my gloves on. Oh, sorry guys. I'm gonna get you better light, don't worry. One sec. Yeah, when I seen the engine on the Shelby Collectibles Eleanor, I was sold on it. And it's not just the engine, it's the details in general. I ain't trying to make this about the Eleanor car, guys, because I already did the unboxing of it. But it's about the detail Shelby Collectibles paid attention to. Look at the passenger dashboard, guys. Signed by Carol Shelby in 1/18 scale. That impressed the crap out of me when I seen it. Of course, it's got the Go Juice in the trunk. Look at that interior, guys. So as you see, Shelby Collectibles doesn't mess around. Look at the gauges. Crazy. And I'm not sure who's on my Facebook. I know a lot of my viewers follow me on Facebook. If you don't, you should. But on my Facebook, I have albums of all my cars. And I dedicated an entire album to this Eleanor because it takes such a gorgeous picture. So if you're on there, check out that album because she's gorgeous in the photos. I know it's like apples and oranges, guys, because they're not the same Mustangs, but they're both by the same company. And this is about showing you guys the beauty and the detail. And these are models that you don't pay $300 for. I've seen this Shelby Collectibles Eleanor for as cheap as $80 in a beat up box, guys. In fact, I think I paid $100 for mine. So, beauties. Shelby Collectibles, guys. By the way, that green Mustang, retro score 9 out of 10 if you're into that year Mustang. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. By the time you see this video, it's probably catching up to about Sunday. So, through the week, probably the beginning of the week, you'll be seeing what we got up to over the weekend. And it'll be when I have fully charged batteries, so that's a good thing. Maybe we'll get the Bigfoot Diorama done, or we'll get up to some other shenanigans. Maybe we'll do a toy hunt, who knows. Maybe if the money hits the account, we'll go get one of those fancy cars and unbox it. If you don't know what I'm talking about with the Hotwheels Super Elite Back to the Future DeLorean, look it up, guys. It's the ultimate. Has all the different wheels from the different Back to the Future movies to swap on and off the car. Wow. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in and for so much love lately on my videos. The positive comments, telling me what you guys love. All the positive stuff is what keeps me going. I read the positive comments. It's like you're adding fuel to the fire for me to think of the next video, and I want to keep consistent. That's another positive comment I got. Thank you for being consistent. When I get comments like that, you think I'm going to go not be consistent? I can't do that. So thank you guys for all the love. Please smash like for me today. Please subscribe if you haven't done it, and tell your collector buddies about me. And as always, guys, happy hunting.